Welcome to the Lady Up America podcast. I'm Diane Canada, your host. I'm so glad you're here today. Thanks for tuning in. Ladies, today's conversation is so important. I'm going to ask you, as we get ready to meet our guest today, I want you to turn off all the notifications and distractions that might be going on, if at all possible, so that you can really lean in and not miss a thing in this conversation. I know that election integrity is at the top of our minds. We're all very concerned about cheating, about things going on at the polls, anything that we can do to help prevent that this time around. Well, today you're going to get some really practical answers. I'm going to be introducing you to Hart. She is on the board of GOP Nashville here. She has also run for office. She's run for State House of Representatives and also Metro Council here. But today she's bringing us some very valuable information on how you and me, how we can participate in protecting election integrity this year, all from the comfort of our own home. So stay with me. Like I said, turn off all distractions and we'll be right back with Hart.
Around this town, lady up around this town, victory on the battleground, we claim it now. Lady up, lady up. Lady up, lady up.
All right, ladies, welcome back. I'm really excited for you to meet Dia today. She has a heart for our country. She's got a heart for making sure that this election coming up is as fair as possible. What we're going to be talking about today is a nationwide effort where you and me can participate in protecting the integrity of our election. I don't want to give it away. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. So please welcome into the show today, Dia Hart. Hi, Dia. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane, for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm really glad you're here today. What you have to say today, what you've shared with me offline, I had to bring online so that these ladies could just gobble up everything you're going to be sharing. So let's talk about election integrity first before we get into the nuts and bolts of what you're offering them. I know a lot of us are very concerned about the cheating that's going to possibly go on at the polls this year. And a lot of people, quote unquote, voting that are deceased, that don't live in the county anymore, that maybe moved from one state to another. With your work with the GOP, how much is this on the minds of the people you're encountering?
I really feel like it's on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
We have a lot of opportunity to see what's going on in terms of election integrity in our everyday lives. We see it on social media platforms. We see it on the news. We reference back in history to see what happened in the 20 election and the information that's been coming out recently about the elections and possible voter fraud. So I believe that election integrity has become an integral part of every person's lives. And when I was introduced to this initiative, I was very excited because I could be a part of helping the efforts in ensuring that our voter rolls are as clean as possible.
Yeah. And, I know that there may still be some people out there, or maybe even some people listening to us today that don't really think that there was any cheating in the 2020 election. They think that's kind of a talking point that Trump brings up and that he won't let go of it. And, there are people that just don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. We don't ever want to say things on this show that are not true, that are not well vetted, that are not provable. And I have seen so much evidence, and I ran for State House of Representatives in 2020. I know so many people who ran. It is provable. There was absolutely election fraud that took place. And we're not crazy to think that happened. There are a lot of states who have changed their laws and who have shored up and put things into play that will help protect. But what you're offering today is kind of a whole new element to that I think is so exciting, in how the everyday average person can participate in the process. So just speaking real quick before we go into the details, what would be your message to those people who still are wobbling a little bit, who still really don't think there was cheating in the last election?
And thank you for asking. I agree that I would never want to say anything that was not true.
Yeah.
But here's what I do know. If you don't believe that there was no cheating involved, this is still an opportunity to make sure that our election and our voter registrations are accurate.
Yeah.
So, whether you believe or not, this is your opportunity to make sure that they are as clean as possible, irregardless to what we believe. There is proof, in my personal opinion, of things coming out every day where there was cheating. You can look at Georgia and some other states to see that. You can also see, as you mentioned, that there are states who are putting new policies and guidelines in place, like in Arizona and other places. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's national, but this is our local elections. And if we want to make sure that the integrity of our local community and our state have the very best records, I can take 5 minutes out of my day, or I can take 1 hour out of my day to ensure that I have done my part to make it better.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great response. So whether people believe that there was cheating or not, this is still for you today. Let's dive into this. Tell us all about this initiative that you have found and how people can help.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I was introduced to this from a friend of mine named Scott. But once I dove into it, I looked at IV3, but it is really under the umbrella of True the Vote. So people can either go directly to IV3 or they can go to True the Vote to learn more. This is an opportunity to check the voter rolls, and they have different scenarios that the system works in. It is a web-based system. It allows you to register. You register utilizing within your own your county, and you utilize that system to check a variety of different scenarios. As an example, one scenario is you can check to see whether or not a person that is registered to vote, if there's a discrepancy where they no longer live in this state. So if it is a discrepancy where their USPS address is different than their voter registration address, you may want to challenge that. If a person has passed away, so you can go to certain organizations that may have citizens who have passed away. If they are deceased and you can provide proof of that, then you can challenge that. And then the election commission is responsible for removing them from the voter roll.
Yeah. So let's back up for just a second. Maybe for some ladies listening that have never participated in anything involving elections before, I just feel like I need to fill in a couple of blanks for those ladies, because I was one of those ladies not so long ago. I didn't know anything about any of this. So the True the Vote is an organization that's kind of the umbrella company, and this initiative is called IV3, and it stands for Independent Voter Validation and Verification. So Independent Voter Validation and Verification, IV3. And so what a lot of people may not realize is that all registered voters, that is public knowledge, that is public information that is stored, kept, kind of protected through each state's election commission. So in every county and in every state, there is an organization. The election commission is kind of responsible for keeping those voter rolls, what we're calling is kind of like a roll call of all the registered voters. And any of that information can be accessed through this organization. And then this is what you're saying, then, Dia, people can go on through this organization and just compare notes and say, okay, this person in my county just looks a little suspicious because it looks like they're registered to vote here, but their address is showing they live in California. And so you're saying to challenge that, to show that discrepancy, report it to the election commission through their process that they'll take you through. And then the election commission would run that down, verify it. And then if it's wrong, they take them off their voter roll.
Absolutely.
And that voter roll is important because isn't that what is used then at the ballot centers when people are comparing, when people come in to actually cast their vote? Isn't that what they're using to verify that the person is a registered voter?
Absolutely. When you go to vote, they do ask you for your ID, and that information on your ID, typically your driver's license, should match your voter registration.
Which is that voter roll.
Correct. And that's what True to Vote does. They try to prevent voter fraud and making sure that they're in alignment with voter ID laws. But this particular system, the IV3, is a critical component that will help us to find discrepancies. If a person has been inactive for 10 years, that would probably send a red flag for me, and I might want to challenge that.
Mhm.
If a person has moved out of our definitely want to challenge that. If a person is deceased or is a felon and that is against the state law that you live in, then that is a reason to challenge that particular individual.
Mhm.
So there are different mechanisms you can search for. If the name on the voter registration is not the same name that they have listed with the USPS system, that might be a reason that you want to challenge. And then, as you said, yes, it goes to the election commission. I, as an individual, could not remove anyone's name from the voter roll, but I can help the election commission out by pointing out those inconsistencies that they may want to do further research and determine whether or not that person should be removed from the voter roll.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so good. This is so important. Because that's a lot of names to go through. If especially when we're talking about a nationwide effort. So someone can just, devote as much time as they have just to volunteer and go through this and help out their election commission. The election commission does not have a big staff. They're a pretty small organization. And so all of this help, I'm sure they welcome it. So Dia, if they, one of the things that you had brought up to me is that if someone's incarcerated, I know you were just talking about that, but if they're incarcerated or a convicted felon, they've lost their voting right. And so that is something that needs to be challenged. There are all kinds of things you'll learn, ladies, as you start to do this about how, unfortunately, how messed up a lot of these voter rolls are. And I love that we have the opportunity to catch that before election day, especially if we're talking about people who are gaming the system. Being able to really catch those people who are gaming the system. So Dia, let's talk a little bit further. So what do they have to do to get involved? I know you said go to the website and they register an account. Is this something that they do on an app, or is this something that's done, through a laptop, or is it something they can do on their phone if they're just sitting around? Like, how easy is it to participate?
So easy, and that's why I loved it. It is very user friendly. It is web based, so yes, you can go onto your computer and look up the IV3 URL. It's very simple. You click the registration URL, and it takes you directly into the application. You will have to provide identification, and they will verify that you live in the county that you say you live in and that you are registered in that county. This is a national initiative. However, after you have been they'll send you a letter letting you know that they received your application. And once you receive that, it takes approximately 24 to 48 hours for them to verify that you are an active person in the voter roll in the county that you said you live in, and that you are current and everything is okay with your registration. Then they send you fantastic resources, lots of videos. It's like one, two, three. The thing that I love about this most is that it's a very simple process. You register for with them. Then after you are confirmed, you do sort of like the introductory videos that tell you one, two, three what to do. There's available people on chat and on email if you want to contact them if you have additional questions. Once you get in, you search using the name or the address or some search tool, and they give you several. You review the information, which is very easy. It's a sort of a comparison, and they give you the tool to do that. And then you click, I challenge that person or I don't challenge that person. If you don't challenge, you don't have to do anything. You just go to the next name. If you do challenge, you select the challenge button and then you hit submit. That's it. Then when you feel like you have a significant number of people, you give that information to the election commission. It's very simple. Literally, I can go through 10 names in less than 10 minutes. So every
Wow.
moment that people counts, you can spend 5 minutes a day and make a difference. As an example, there might be 500,000 people, but if I can help with 1,000 people, it may take me maybe a week or maybe a month to do that. Me depends on how much volunteer time that I have available. But every single vote that you ensure is accurate is the low hanging fruit. And then the election commission does not have to do all the heavy lifting by themselves, because at the end of the day, it is my family, my community, my state that needs to ensure roads are clean, and I am a significant help to to helping them do that, and to ensuring that we have the best voter roll that we possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. It really is a matter of taking some personal responsibility. And like you said, when they make it that easy, there's really no excuse to not do it. I think this is something we all have to just have a mind shift on, that, people, it's easy to sit around and say, oh, somebody should take care of that. Oh, somebody should scrub the voter rolls. Oh, well, how about we look in the mirror? How about me and you? It's us. It's that personal responsibility. We have to step up as citizens. This is our country. Like you said, this is our freedom on the line, our voter integrity on the line. We need to protect that as best we can. And we can no longer pass the buck or sit around and just be, armchair critics. We have to get on the field. Everybody's got to get on the field and do their part. I love your heart, Dia. I love that you are so committed to your community. And I watch you in action all the time. And you've been a very big help to Lady Up America in many ways. It's just a real honor to know you and to call you a friend. And I love that you're stepping up and encouraging other people to join this initiative. So thank you for everything you're doing, everything that you always do to bring so much help to the community here.
Thank you. Thank you to you, Diane, and Lady Up, and all of the wonderful ladies and women and moms out there. You don't have to knock on doors. You don't have to do those phone calls. You don't have to do those things. But this is something you can do from your home, and you can also start teaching your children how to be a part of the process and being the change that we want to see. I have been so encouraged by you and by Lady Up, and being a part of this sort of transformation in how we how we activate, how we communicate, and how we share knowledge. And I just appreciate each and every person for considering the IV3 initiative. And if I can just say that I just hope everybody enjoys it as much as I do. And thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right, Dia. Well, we will make sure we have all the links here in the notes section of this episode so that people can navigate to it and get quickly involved, registered, and on their way. And we're all going to be saying a lot of prayers between now and Election Day, prayers over Trump and his family, prayers over all the candidates that are running that have a heart for our country, and definitely over our election process this year. I know prayer is very powerful, but so is moving our hands and feet and our thumbs and fingers on keyboards here to get involved. We've got to keep moving and not just sitting around and wishing. That prayer accompanied with action is what we've got to see. So I believe we'll do that. So thank you so much for bringing that to us, to our attention. We'll pump it out. And like I said, ladies, if you'll just check the notes area, there'll be easy links there for you to get registered and get going. All right, ladies, thanks so much for tuning in today. Lady Up, get on those voter rolls. Let's all contribute. Let's all do our part. See you next time.
Lady up around this town. Lady up around this town. Victory on the battleground.